if I do this and that and that and this and this, so this would this make sense? But if that would do this, then this. Why? But wait. I think this might. Yes. Okay. I think I've got it. Oh, goodness gracious me. Hi. I'm sorry. Hi. I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films. I know what you're thinking. Boy, was I working hard to figure out how the fugitive doctor worked into the doctor's timeline. Well, I didn't. What you were seeing was actually me trying to come up with a bit for this episode. Still can't think of one. I thought I had something, but no, I don't think I've got a bit for this episode. Sorry, guys, but it's just how it happens sometimes. Anyway, last time on Doctor Who, we had Fugitive of the Judoon, where there was a fugitive of the Judoon, but also a fugitive of Gallifrey, because the person who was the fugitive, I guess I could just say the fugitive, was actually a different incarnation of the Doctor. But neither of them know which one is which. Like, 13 obviously doesn't remember the fugitive Doctor, and the fugitive Doctor doesn't remember 13. So, we're very confused as to where the fugitive Doctor fits into everything. She could be just an alternate universe Doctor, like a doppelganger or something, or maybe some weird timeline thing that happens, which, I mean, we've had that a lot, where it's like, oh, multiple timelines that happen, so who knows, it could just be like an alternate timeline Doctor, you know? Like, who knows, maybe when the first Doctor regenerated in one timeline, he regenerated into Patrick Troughton, but in another timeline, he regenerated into the fugitive. I don't know the actress's name right now, so I can't just say her name, so sorry. Also, Jack Harkness was there. Yeah. But we are left with 50,000 more questions and no answers. So, yeah. And then at the end, the gang was like, hey, come on, don't feel so down. We'll figure this out. Don't worry about it. And then the TARDIS was like, yeah, I'm going to send you guys somewhere so you can all, like, just sort of get back to basics. So, yeah, that was basically that. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever, and we might as well get right into this episode of Doctor Who. Here we go.
Planet Earth. Early in the 3rd decade of the 21st century.
Ugh.
Population, 7 billion.
And this came out in 2020. So take that, Dad. 2020 is part of the 20s. I'm going to send this to him to be sure he knows.
Of the oceans.
Uh-oh.
To the edge of the atmosphere.
What is that? Oh, it's just a space shuttle. Whoa! Meanwhile... Oh! Good job.
You, my friend, are under arrest.
He made up a lot of ground with that. Uh-oh, are the birds evil? Oh, yep, birds are evil. Okay, there's a connection between these stories. Adam. Find you in Hong Kong?
Hey! Don't touch it. Something's wrong with the birds.
Oh, hi, Ryan. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong... You know, I don't really know what Hong Kong looks like during the day, but Hong Kong is really beautiful at night. This guy seriously went to Hong Kong from the UK.
I don't think they're too keen on visitors.
Oh.
Come on, son, fist down.
Hey, guys.
There's some help over here!
Oh, hey, Doc. Why is the gang so split up? Great job.
I'm Gabriella. I'm guessing you know that.
No.
2 Girls Roman. The travel vlog. That's me and Jamila.
Huh.
Sorry, bit behind. I do a fair bit of traveling myself.
Yeah.
I'm Ryan.
Barnacles. Oh, I don't like it. Wow! And then he exploded. Jeez.
Birds going haywire in Peru. An active alien tech in Hong Kong. There's also a talking cat in Ontario, but I've ruled him out for now.
Nuh. Could these just be random things that are happening?
The whole point of quarantine is not going in where it says quarantine.
Do you want to find her or no?
Nuh. Yeah. Wear a mask at least. Maybe some gloves. Uh-oh. She's got that barnacle crap on her.
You seen these markings before?
Whoop. Okay, that's why you don't touch. Oh, she's gonna explode. Go!
2 identical deaths on 2 different continents.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty
And it's
consistent.
Lock from the inside.
Maybe if we went round the other way.
Yes! Kick man. I like this guy, he kicks.
Cha cha cha.
Uh-oh. Oh, they have gas masks.
Must be valuable.
Yes, we're out.
Alright, good job, Yaz. This is the best the companions have ever done. Oh, yes! Kick! Oh my gosh, kicks and guns. I love this guy.
I'm on a sabbatical.
Nuh.
It's okay. So she.
Nuh. Yeah.
Except I don't go around. Come back for me in, well, I don't know, an hour or something.
It's too dangerous. We need to know why Adam was taken there and what they did to him. And how this is all connected to those other events.
I'll come with you. I'm more than ready to fight something.
She has a good point.
1 hour.
Alright. Good luck.
So, you two know each other how?
We're married.
Well, one
Ah.
of us is in for a shock.
Now it all makes
Doesn't
sense.
like putting the work. Alien birds.
I don't know, but if I could get hold of one to analyse it.
Good job I got one in my backpack. Picked it up when I was in Peru.
That's why you smell a dead bird.
Nuh.
You changed your shower gel.
Doc!
Guess you recognize me?
No,
2 girls roaming.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, no.
What's the matter with you people?
Nuh. Oh, that's really funny. Can't really relate to that. I'm not... Channel's not big enough for me to be all cocky like that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get out of here.
But I could just do it, it'd be funny.
Ryan, will you dissect it for me?
What?
You must have done it at school. Doesn't need to be elegant.
Good. Because I won't be.
Nuh.
Nice lab. Your bloodstream's been infected with an alien pathogen, presumably in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Is it bad if I don't know what pathogen is?
A little.
Glad you asked that, because I didn't want to look stupid.
It's a
Nuh.
microorganism that carries disease. Alien bacteria, which is latching onto life forms and killing them. I'm afraid it's inside you, Adam. And right now, I don't know how
Yeah.
to stop it overwhelming you.
My husband is an astronaut. You have any idea how hard it is being married to somebody that impressive? If he's that impressive, if he's that amazing, which he is, he can't love me the way he says he does. It doesn't make sense. Why would he?
Well,
Hey. I don't think he's the one you're punishing.
Nuh.
It's feasting on the plastic in the birds and taking them over. The alien pathogens attacked the plastic. The plastic metastasized as if it was living.
Okay.
Homing in on microplastics because humans are full of them.
Excuse me, I'm not for a plastic.
Got something.
I'm afraid
No.
you're not, Graham. It's in the air, it's in your food, it's in your water.
In the water.
Humans have flooded this planet with plastics that can't be fully broken down. So much so that you're ingesting microparticles whether you know it or not. You're
Huh.
poisoning yourselves as well as your planet.
Oh,
Alien bacteria
great.
came to this planet and it found a feast.
because it can just get in. Well then.
The lab in Hong Kong was sending data to 2 locations. One in the middle of the Indian Ocean, but the other is in Madagascar, where you are right now.
Okay, that's not good.
Suki Chang. Out
too
here all
equipped.
alone in an over-equipped lab. I should have spotted it straight away.
What's happening?
Well,
Where's
shit.
Shaz?
I was so worried when you turned up, when you took him from Hong Kong. But you've really helped. Got even more answers from you than we get from
bollocks.
experimenting on Adam. We call the infection Praxeus.
Oh, I'm a sucker for a scientist.
Nuh.
Where did she just go?
We need to get out of here.
Have they gone?
I don't think so. Nope. Oh god. They're like bats. Nuh. Yeah, this is why. Swing and a miss, Doc. They can get through glass. Or not. Oh my gosh, these friggin' birds.
Looks like it was trying to get somewhere, but its injuries were too bad. I want to know what they are.
Are they just humans? No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Oh my god.
But he hasn't exploded.
Bio-reading
Totally found an alien colony.
sort of. It is an alien construct, but it's not an alien colony.
Almost.
Where are we? What are you looking like that for?
Thought I discovered an alien planet on my own.
Aw. I mean, this is a good discovery.
They're not human. Infected with Praxeus, but the body hasn't disintegrated. Must be due to the different biology.
I don't
Okay.
get it. Why were these guys experimenting on Adam?
Maybe for the same reasons we are. To find a cure.
Oh.
The survivors were assigned to lab ships to find an antidote for the few of us left alive.
Okay.
You're infected too.
Cellular mutation is slower for us.
If you're scientists
Okay.
in lab ships, please tell me you didn't bring this infection here deliberately.
Oh, they had to find a
Praxeus
cure.
breeds in plastic, and this planet is saturated in it. We traveled across 3 galaxies to find the perfect living laboratory.
To use Earth as a petri dish, destroying one race to save the remnants of your own.
Huh.
You've had a double dose of Praxeus.
But you showed me how to find a cure. Thanks to you, my mission was successful. They already had the transmission of how the cure could work.
No, Suki, the cure is designed for humans, and we don't even know if it works on them. If you're not human, who knows what will happen?
Yeah.
Please tell me you haven't administered it on yourself.
Stay out of my way.
Some scientist you are. Uh-oh.
What's happening to me? It's spreading. How do I stop it? Help me.
It's too late. Oh. Well,
You okay? Where's Suki?
you can
Succumb to Praxeus.
save the Earth at least.
I think this may give us a way through. I need a crew in here.
Count us in.
Hey.
Your machine spat this out.
That's the antidote.
Nuh.
Oh, and by the way, where the hell are we?
Follow me. Lots to do.
Okay.
Discharge the virus in one super-powered burst, dispersing it around the world, killing Praxeus stone dead.
Yay.
Hopefully. Only one tiny flaw in the
God, we could use this for the
Send it into
vaccine.
the atmosphere, it'll rip a hole in this world and we'll be crushed under the entire Indian Ocean.
That's more than a tiny fall, Doc.
Maybe
That's where I set the autopilot. So everybody out now.
back to the TARDIS.
Autopilot failure.
Oh, no.
Can't connect.
It's gonna work though, right?
I don't know. It might not. But it's definitely gonna take off. We need to
Oh
get
no, Adam's gonna sacrifice himself.
Come on.
Oh no, maybe it's Jake. Oh no. Jake's gonna sacrifice himself.
These comms on. Spaceship to blue box, can you hear me?
Nuh.
Any idiot can fly a spaceship, right?
Oh.
Jake, I don't want this. Maybe I do. Maybe I need this.
Oh no.
Into the stratosphere.
This is me not dodging.
Oh.
Don't say I never listened to you.
Shields in position, Jake.
Dispersing antidote. I think.
Nuh.
Jake, you've done it. Antidote particles being dispersed into the jet streams.
Hey. Could you now get the TARDIS in there and save him? Alright, come on. Yes. Okay, good. Materialize the TARDIS around.
I hate you.
Aww.
Yes, I can can save him, just if I materialise round him in the millisecond before the ship breaks up.
Good job.
Nice work, Doc.
What can I say? I'm a romantic.
Aww. Okay, good work.
We never had a honeymoon because he didn't want to go abroad. Maybe now's the time.
I'll come with you.
How's that honeymoon if you're with us?
We can vlog about it.
Aww.
Call it 3 idiots rowing.
Nah.
I like it. It's snappy.
And factual.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can go now. We'll take the planet from here.
Kind of weird leaving them in Madagascar.
Come find us sometime.
Separate and connected. From the edge of the atmosphere to the depths of the ocean.
Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty, that's episode 6. Boy, so nice to get back to something simple, you know? Something nice and simple. Excuse me. Just a nice, simple, fun adventure. I don't have to tear my hair out trying to figure things out. Alrighty. And, I mean, for something that came out in 2020, a little bit topical, with the whole thing of the virus and everything and finding a cure. Man, could you imagine if we found if we took the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, we just dispersed that shit all over the world? That'd be great. You wouldn't have to get an injection. Anyway. So, let's go ahead and hop into the notes. I really enjoyed this episode. I like how we just jump into a mystery. I do like that, occasionally when it's like, oh, something's happening and here's some other people that are trying to, they're being caught up in the mystery, but the Doctor and the gang are already, on the case. I love stories like that, and they've done that a couple times with the 13th Doctor, but I think this was the best one. And yeah, just seeing, all these different stories come together. You have Ryan with Gabriella, and there's only one L in Gabriella. Oh, well, I learned something. So you have Ryan with her, you have Yaz and Graham with Jake trying to find Adam, and then the Doctor in Madagascar. And that's really interesting, and it's also good because it shows you how far the companions have come, where it's it basically just shows how far they've come with being companions, that the Doctor can send them, can just send them on errands to figure some things out, and they do figure it out. Yaz can go to this alien spaceship or whatever, and she can go there and not get herself killed immediately, So I really do like that, and this is probably the best the three of them have ever been, I guess, useful, you could say. And I know the whole thing of companions is the Doctor doesn't take them to be useful, but I like it's obviously good when they are useful, the Doctor took these three not because of Yaz is a cop and all that sort of stuff. It's no, she just took these three because she wanted to. Well, yeah, she wanted to. So having them actually, not just stand there and be oh, I don't understand what this thing is. No, they are actually helping, even with, even down to Ryan, going through and dissecting the bird and everything. It also it kind of makes you stop and think anyone. I don't know. It helps you think oh man, anyone could be the Doctor's companion, because some of this stuff where it's I don't know if I'd be able to do that, but there would either I would figure it out or someone would be there to help or something, And you also get a bit of that with Jake where it's oh, I need you to make an IV, and he's I don't really know how to do that, but Graham does, so they help out. So all of that was really, really good. I think this might be the best the companions have ever been with the 13th Doctor. So anyway, so yeah, so we had the whole thing with the three different locations that formed together. There were 4 locations, but the Doctor ruled out the Talking Cat in Ontario. it's also interesting, when she finds, it's like, okay, multiple things are happening at the same time. It's always interesting when it's like, she never thinks that they could be separate events, And I don't remember what the other time was where that happened, where it's like, there was an episode, it was the 13th Doctor, where it's like, there were two things that were happening, and she was like, that can't be a coincidence that they're both happening on the same day, So, I don't remember what that was. Maybe you guys can help me out in the comments, but yeah, it's like, I do sort of like that stuff, and, how, you try to figure out how these all work together, but I would actually like just one time for there to be, like, two different alien storylines that are happening at the same time, and the Doctor has to, like, go back and forth and figure them both out. And even if they, maybe they don't fit together at all, like, because it sort of reminds me of an interesting thing that happened in the classic series, and I won't go too much into it in case some of you guys haven't seen it, but a couple stories basically take place at almost the exact same time. And those are, what is it? The War Machines, the Faceless Ones, and Evil of the Daleks sort of take place within the same day of each other, And if you've seen those episodes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the thing is, those are, they're still separate stories. Like, okay, over here is these war machines that are happening, but over here, there's these Daleks that are going on. There's also at this airport, there's this, like, weird thing going on here. But the Doctor goes to each of those in different stories. They just all happen to be on the same day. But I want like 2 or 3 different stories that are all happening, but they all happen in the same episode, and the Doctor has to figure out all 3 of them, even if they have nothing to do with each other, Like, there's so many, like, different things where it's like, these people, these aliens want to come in and conquer or, destroy the Earth, or they want to do experiments on the Earth. And I almost want to see them, like, get in the way of each other, Like, 3 different species are trying to do it all at once, and maybe they get in each other's way, and that's how the Doctor beats them all. Like, I want to see something like that. I think that'd be really funny. And having 3 companions like we do right now would help with that, because that would allow for, if you send them off to different locations and then the Doctor's trying to piece everything together through what the companions have seen, Like, that could be really interesting. Which, again, is sort of... It's sort of basically what happened here, but I want them to be completely separate, But still, this was really, really good. I liked all the side characters. Jake, Adam, and Gabriella were very interesting. I did like... I liked Suki. At first, I was like, oh, man, she's definitely, like, companion material here. It's like, wow, she's, like, fully equipped with everything that she needs and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is really nice. And then it's like, oh, we should have been suspicious about that. The Doctor fell for a scientist, and she ended up being the bad guy. Kind of, yes, technically the villain, spreading Praxeus around on Earth, So all that was really interesting. Let's see. I liked the whole thing with Jake and Adam. Well, at first, like, I guess it just didn't click in my head that they could be married, like, because it's like, oh, he gets this text, and it's like, oh, okay, but they don't really say, like, it didn't really feel like, oh, Jake knows who is contacting him, and it's like, oh, it's Adam, I'm in Hong Kong, and then he goes, and it's like, well, wait, what? It's like, I guess it didn't even click in my head, like, oh, they must know each other. I thought this literally was, somehow he contacted this guy at random, and this guy just happened to actually go to Hong Kong. I guess when you put it like that, that sounds really dumb. So, yeah. So, yeah, I guess, yeah, that sounds really dumb when you put it like that, so I guess that's... Yeah, really. Okay. So I'm stupid. That's the conclusion we just drew from that. But yeah, so I like that, just that whole thing. And then I like the whole thing of, Jake basically saying, like, I am, Adam is so, he's so interesting, and he's such a good person and everything like that, and he's so incredible. And I like how he says, like, I'm not that. I'm basically the opposite. So, and he can't even, like, wrap his head around, like, why does he love me when I'm not him? Like, he basically says, it's basically that he doesn't think he deserves Adam, or Adam deserves better, And that's a really interesting thought, when you have a partner who, I guess we could just say does more amazing things per se. That's a good point. That, like, do you feel like, oh well, what do I bring to them? What do I do for them? Why me, basically? And that is a very good point. And I really did like that, actually. And then, it's like, oh well, he couldn't possibly, actually care about me. And it's like, yeah. And it's like, okay, well, why does he care about you? Because he cares about you. Because he loves you. And it's like, which, at the end of the day, it becomes, this, like the doctor says, it's very romantic. But it's like, that is honestly it. That it's like, yes, your husband is very, very amazing. And he also loves you. It was just an interesting sort of thing. And, him, like, going over all this. And, of course, this is all, he's telling all of this to Graham, everybody's grandfather, So, if you're going to be talking to anyone in Doctor Who about, like, your personal issues or anything, talk to Graham, because he's amazing, So I like that, and he's like, oh, mate, I don't think he's the one you're punishing. Like, yeah, it's like you have this in your head, but this isn't like you're punishing him or anything like that. It's like, no, you think that you're not good enough for him, whereas he loves you no matter what. If you're a cop on sabbatical or anything like that, if you're not an astronaut, it does not matter to him, And I really like that. Like, that was really, really cool, So Jake and Adam were really, really good in this. Gabriella, kind of thought she'd do a bit more. Like, she was good, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, she didn't actually do that much, now that I really think about it. But a lot of that was on Jake and Adam, Like, there was a lot of character there. So yeah, that was interesting. The whole thing about that... Okay, so it was... This disease is attracted to plastic. So... The disease is attracted to plastic, so on Earth, that is very bad because we are constantly ingesting microplastics. Like the doctor says, it's in the air, it's in your food, it's in your water, it's everywhere, just these tiny, tiny microparticles of plastic. And so because of that, this disease, Praxeus, is attracted to that and can infect humans or birds, as we also saw. So that was really interesting. And see, I feel like this is, while it is just slightly, how do I put this? It's just slightly on the nose because this is obviously commentary about pollution and, polluting, plastics in the Indian Ocean and everything like that. And it's definitely a commentary on that. But I feel like this does what Orphan 55 wanted to do, I feel like this does what Orphan 55 wanted to do, where it's like, it's not exactly subtle. You can immediately, as soon as there's like, oh, it's the plastics, you're like, oh, okay, this is a commentary on this. But at the same time, I don't know exactly if I can explain why it's done well here and not in Orphan 55, Maybe because, at the end the doctor was like, and you need to clean up your plastics. Don't pollute the earth, guys. Which was a major problem at the end of Orphan 55. Well, it could also be that the rest of the episode was good. Because with Orphan 55, the problem... the whole thing about the global warming problem, that's not the biggest problem of that story. It is a problem with that story. But there are so many other bad things about that episode that it's not the big thing. This time around, it's like, okay, so here's this thing. Yes, it is a bit of a commentary. It's not exactly a, slap you across the face and be like, you need to fix this, guys. It's more of a, hey, here's this thing. It's sort of based on this. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, and that is a problem. That is a problem we have in this. It is more of a, I feel like, like I said, it's not the slap across the face message that Orphan 55 had. It is more of a, hey, let's talk about this, like, okay, who wants an obscure reference? So, here's my obscure reference. If any of you guys have seen Static Shock, like I told you, this is getting a little obscure. Although, it's not really an obscure show, but you get what I mean. This is sort of a random reference. Every so often, Static Shock would have an episode that was sort of the PSA episode. Now, at the end, they did sort of have a PSA of Static Shock being like, hey, kids, don't talk about it. But at the same time, that was, it was a cartoon. I sort of give a pass on some of that. But the episode itself was always really good. Like, there was one where it was like, where it was an episode about guns, and it was a very, very good episode. And yes, at the end they had the whole thing of, hey kids, I'm Static Shock, and don't touch guns, or whatever it was. But the episode itself, while you immediately knew, okay, this is talking about guns and gun safety and everything like that, it still, again, it wasn't a slap across the face. It was basically starting a conversane with the viewer, like, hey, can we talk about this really quickly? We want to talk to you about this. And you're like, oh, okay, so I see how this is going. Like, oh, this is what this episode wants to talk to me about. Okay, I get that. That's fine. Whereas Orphan 55, again, it's the slap across the face. Whereas this is like a Static Shock episode. Like, you get this whole thing with the mystery and everything, and you have such good side characters in this. And then it's like, hey, the reason, this whole infection thing is happening in this episode is because of plastics. And you're like, oh, plastics. Oh, well, that makes sense. We have a lot of, we have plastic problems in our society today. That is a problem. And you're like, oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. Like, oh, that's how this happened. And it's not a, hey, go fix the plastics and everything. It's like, hey, we want to talk to you about this. Yes, we are sort of framing it as, well, this caused an alien virus to show up on the Earth. And yes, that doesn't mean that will literally happen, but it's more of a, hey, just kind of keep this in your mind. Maybe, try to work on this, as opposed, and again, I don't know how many times I've said this, but that was the problem with Orphan 55. Was, you can do an episode that talks about, current issues and maybe gets a little PSA-y, but there is a distinct difference in how you do it, Whereas a good episode will be like this, where it starts a conversation. Whereas Orphan 55 was a straight slap across the face kind of PSA. And nobody wants that sort of PSA, So, nobody wants that. Static Shock, I guess, did sort of have it both ways, where they had the good conversation starter, and then at the end they sort of had, it wasn't really even, maybe another problem with the slap across the face of Orphan 55 is that it's a bit more cynical, Whereas with Static Shock, like the gun violence PSA, at the end, Static Shock would, he'd show up and he'd be like, hey, and you need to, I guess it's just Static, not Static Shock. The show is called Static Shock, but the hero's name is Static. Hopefully that didn't drive anyone crazy. But he would come out and be like, hey, be careful with guns, remember gun safety and stuff, maybe leave the guns alone, kids, don't play with guns and stuff like that. But the difference is, it never ended with, and if you play with guns, you're going to fucking die, That feels like that would have been the end to Orphan 55, where it's like, well, if you don't clean things up, you're going to devolve into monsters. Like, well, fucking thanks, Doctor Who! Thanks for giving me that nightmare, Jesus! So that's the thing, That's the fundamental that's the flaw in Orphan 55 and the success of this episode, where it's that it's a PSA. Yes, it does want to talk to you about this, but it is not the slap in the face. So, good on this episode for doing that right. Okay, what else do we got? I did also like how why Praxeus was now on Earth was that this disease had basically ravaged another race, and so they needed to figure out a cure, but in doing so, they put the Earth in danger, and it was only because of the doctor that the human race survived Praxeus, you know? So that was interesting. Now, I will say Suki is kind of a piss-poor scientist. She's kind of a piss-poor scientist because she just has a cure. She doesn't even think, oh, well, that's how... like, it'll work on us because it worked on humans. Like, well, you don't know that. It's like, for everything that, you know, the doctor says, like, oh, I'm a sucker for a scientist and stuff like that, it's like, she kind of wasn't that good. Maybe because she was too desperate to get the cure, you know? Whereas, I guess that's it, is that she was so desperate that she wasn't able to actually sit down, get help, and get an actual cure for her race, you know? So, but that whole thing of why Praxeus is on Earth, I actually did think was interesting, you know? And I like that it wasn't a disease that came from the plastic, because that would be a little slap in the face too. But it's that this disease came to Earth, it was brought to Earth, and because it's attracted to plastic, then it started to spread quickly through the Earth. So that all is very interesting. And then I like that we didn't have to sacrifice Jake in the end, because yeah, it's like when he was like going up, I was thinking about Captain Jack in Series 1, where, you know, he got the bomb away and it's like, oh, Jack Harkness 100% chance of death, and then he just sort of turns around and the TARDIS is just right there, and then he gets in and they leave. So I like that the Doctor did save Jake, and the two of them can go and be happy with Gabriella as a third wheel. That was kind of funny. 3 idiots roaming. It was still weird that they dropped them off in Madagascar. Like, well, you could have dropped them off somewhere else, like Hong Kong, because that's where, you know, because Jake flew to there. Maybe he has a ticket back, or you could have just dropped them off in the UK. You know, it was just sort of a strange place to drop them off, but oh well. Then go have their honeymoon. So yeah. But I really liked this episode. This was a really, really good episode. Great use of all 3 of our companions. Very interesting premise, and again, yes, a sort of, you know, PSA commentary episode, but in a good way. Like, they did this right. And it's so interesting because this is only 3 episodes later that we're doing sort of a similar PSA episode to Orphan 55, but this one did it so much better, you know? So, yeah, good episode. Really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see where we're going next time. So, with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Doctor Who reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.